Very good afternoon and welcome to Midday News on Rajya Sabha television, where we get you the biggest developing news stories at lunch hour. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor and here are the headlines. Transformation by transportation is the centre's vision for the Northeast, says Prime Minister Modi at the BJP's rally in Nagaland. Says connectivity a big issue in the state. Prime Minister to campaign in Meghalaya today. Both the states vote on the 27th of this month. Centre sets up a new intergovernmental forum to speed up development in the Northeast region. Niti Forum for Northeast to identify and address hurdles to promote inclusive and sustainable development in the region. Mutual funds and shares are worth nearly 95 crore rupees of Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi frozen by the Enforcement Directorate in connection with the PNB fraud case. 9 high-end luxury cars of jeweler also seized. Air Force pilot Avni Chaturvedi scripts history, becomes first Indian woman to fly a fighter aircraft solo. After Agni 2, nuclear-capable surface-to-surface Prithvi 2 missiles successfully test-fired. And in cricket, South Africa keep the T20 series against India alive, who win the second match by 6 wickets at the Centurion. Tiebreaker match to be played on Saturday. First up, news from the northeast of the country, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi is campaigning in the two northeastern states of Nagaland and Meghalaya today ahead of the polls there on the 27th of this month. Prime Minister Modi addressed a rally today in Nagaland's Tuensang district. Speaking at the rally, he said that there is a need for a strong and stable government in the state that will work for its development. Highlighting that his government at the centre has given special priority to the Northeast, the Prime Minister said that his vision for the region is transformation by transportation. He said that connectivity is a huge challenge in the state, adding that the centre was working relentlessly to eliminate this. The Prime Minister said that the BJP government, if voted to power, will make the capital Kohima a smart city.
राजनीतिक अस्थिरता इस क्षेत्र के लोगों ने देखी है, उसे अब आगे बढ़ने का समय है। 4 साल में 4 बार कैबिनेट शपथ ग्रहण करे, ये स्थिति विकास को अवरुद्ध करने वाली है। इसलिए बहुत आवश्यक है कि नागालैंड में एक स्थिर और मजबूत सरकार बने, जो सिर्फ और सिर्फ नागालैंड के लोगों के विकास के लिए समर्पित हो, विकास के लिए काम करती हो.
All right, my colleague Panchanan Mishra is now joining us on the phone line from Nagaland. Panchanan, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in Nagaland this morning, giving a push to the BJP's victory prospect in the poll-bound state. And in this rally today, he spoke on his development agenda for the state. Tell us more.
Yeah, exactly. Mr. Narendra Modi was in Tuensang, and it was his first rally for the Nagaland election, which is going for polling on 27th of February this month. And he chosen to be there in the eastern part of the Nagaland, which was you can say mostly neglected, and there was a call for boycott in this place also. And the interesting thing is that the BJP candidate belongs to this area also, because BJP has fielded 20 candidates out of the 60 with the alliance with the NDPP. And Prime Minister reiterated that the development is a need of not only Northeast but entire Nagaland. But he also said that many projects, including road infrastructure, electricity, has been provided for the Nagaland through the central government. And he especially said that special assistance through Niti Ayog, through Niti Forum has been given for the northeastern states. He also attacked the present incumbent NPF for lack of development and the corruption in the state. So it's a clear-cut message that he said that if there is an NDPP and BJP government, then there will be a clean elections not only, and then it will be a free of you can say corruption. And another very important, significant point he made that Naga solution is a very much near, and in few months there will be a particular open free peace framework. There will be there for the open, and the state will get its due through this long time pending Naga problem. Aishwarya.
All right. Thank you so much for all those details there. And Prime Minister Modi then later will be in Meghalaya, with BJP really making a strong pitch in both the states, Nagaland and Meghalaya, to expand its footprints in the northeast of the country. And Panchanan Mishra also spoke to Rajya Sabha MP from Nagaland, KG Kenya, who belongs to the ruling Naga People's Front. He is also the Secretary General of NPF. Now, he accepts Nagaland has deep-rooted corruption and clean election is the need of the hour.
We have with us Mr. KG Kenya, Rajya Sabha MP from Nagaland, and also Secretary General of NPF, the ruling party in Nagaland. So there are major issues, but the issue of corruption, likewise, this is an election of crore-patis only. What your comment on that? Why the Nagaland, a small state, but there is so many rampant corruption, and also in the process of election also?
Well, corruption, it is something deeply rooted in our society. The issue of not being able to address the economy of the state from the grassroots level may be the cause of what has happened today to our people. So it's a vicious cycle now, and the candidates have to project themselves to be financially sound in order to win the confidence of the electorates. That may be the reason why so many candidates have actually projected an inflated version of their financial status. Otherwise, we don't have so many crore parties among us.
Coming to this election, that BJP was very much part of your NPF. And there is a little bit of confusion that BJP has still not severed the ties. BJP is saying that they are still very much in alliance with the NPF, you can say, and on the other hand, they are contesting with NDPP. How there is such confusion?
Search me. I'm confused also at their attitude and their stand. Thoroughly confused. Many people who are following our relationship are also confused. Sometimes they say something, they do another thing, but so many things have happened so recently that it's so unpredictable, and things are very dicey just now.
And the Prime Minister will also campaign in Meghalaya today and address a rally in West Garo Hills district. The rally at Phulbari town will be Prime Minister's second campaign meeting in the state to drum up support for the BJP's candidate in the assembly elections. His first was when he began his campaign in the state in December last year, where he had also inaugurated the Shillong-Nonstong-Tura highway. Now, BJP, which has fielded candidates on 47 seats out of a total of 60 in Meghalaya, is making strong efforts to throw out Congress from power. The entire town has been kept under tight vigil, and the district authorities are leaving no stone unturned to ensure that no law and order issue crops up. The entire Garo Hills region is under high alert after the NCP candidate here, Jonathan Sangma, was killed in an armed militant attack earlier this week. And our correspondent Ravindra Singh Shoran is in Meghalaya, and he brings us this report from one village that has also earned the tag of being the cleanest in Asia. It is Moli Nong village of Meghalaya, which is also known as God's own garden. Here is our special report.
Maolong, in the East Khasi Hill district of Meghalaya. Situated at the border with Bangladesh, this village has the distinction of being named Asia's cleanest village in 2003. Every villager is responsible to ensure the tag stays.
I don't know about how the people got the inspiration to clean the village, but our village, long time ago, it was clean. But at that time, there are cows, there are goats, there are pigs roaming around the village. It was not good enough. But in the year 1989, we banned all these animals. If we want to leave pigs, we can keep in a good place. So cleanliness in Maulenong is like a habit. It's like the habit of people of Maulenong, because every people of Maulenong take part in cleaning. They clean their own compounds, they clean our footpaths and everywhere.
Each of the 100 houses in the village has a toilet. There are well-maintained roads. Solar lamps light up the streets, and trash bins made from bamboo are placed at every corner. Leave alone stray animals, you won't even come across fallen leaves from trees on the roads here. There is a ban on use of plastic, and smoking in public is also prohibited. Not only are there strict rules, those who flout it are fined.
Since our past, since our grandfather or forefather, we are start to clean our village. Then through them, they teach us how to make clean. Then they teach us to clean every morning. So sometimes evening times. But with the help of the community, so everyone or every household, they take part to clean their own surrounding, like the compounds and the footpath.
The village economy was agriculture-centric earlier, but because of its distinction of being the cleanest village in Asia, tourism has become another driver for its economy. Tourists are charged an entry fee, ensuring that there is steady money for the upkeep of the village. Some of the visitors say that this village is cleaner than several European cities.
I found this is a nice place and very calm, and all those cleanness. It's really needed actually. So it's actually cleanness actually is a message to every people that when you clean your outside, then your heart will be clean. Then your everything will be clean.
The village has undergone massive transformation since 30 years ago, when seasonal epidemics were the norm. That is when this 100% literate village took up the cleanliness mission on a war footing and became a role model for others.
The people of this village never waited for the government to initiate a cleanliness drive. This is what they have been doing for past many decades, and this made not only India proud, but also sent a strong message of cleanliness and environment protection to rest of the world. Now, the government should initiate some program to promote this kind of village so that we can have many more Mawlilong in India. From Mawlilong village in Meghalaya, with cameraman Saroj, Ravin Singh Choran, reporting for Rajya Sabha TV.
And in more news related to the northeast of the country, the centre has set up an intergovernmental forum to identify and address the issues affecting economic growth in the northeast. The new forum, Niti Forum for Northeast, has representatives from key central ministries and the state governments of the region. It has been tasked to identify various constraints on the way of accelerated, inclusive and sustainable economic growth in the northeast. It will be co-chaired by the Vice Chairman of Niti Aayog, Rajiv Kumar, and the Minister for the Development of the Northeastern Region, Jitendra Singh. The team will recommend suitable interventions for addressing identified constraints. It will also review the development status in the Northeast and examine and address any other issue which is of importance. The forum will have its secretariat in the Ministry of Development of the Northeastern Region, and its members will include secretaries of the Ministries of Road Transport and Highways, Railways, Power, Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation, New and Renewable Energy, Health and Family Welfare, Human Resource Development, Environment, Forests and Climate Change. The Chief Secretaries of the northeastern states of Assam, Sikkim, Nagaland, Meghalaya, Manipur, Tripura, Arunachal Pradesh and Mizoram will also be the members of this forum, and a number of experts from various fields will also be the members of this forum. And in midday news, time for a very short break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
We will look at the recent developments in Nepal and Bhutan and its implications and effects on India's strategic interest in the region.
The geopolitics tie Nepal and Bhutan to you very, very intimately.
Our security interests
are
taken care of. I don't think we should have any objection.
China now is very much interested in consolidating its position in South Asia, including Bhutan and Nepal, which are very critical.
Enter the majestic forecourt of Rashtrapati Bhavan and you'll come across the Jaipur column. A gift to the Viceroy from Savai Madho Singh, the Maharaja of Jaipur, to commemorate the creation of the new capital. The base of the column has text conceived by Lord Irwin and Sir Edwin Lutyens inscribed on it.
Welcome back after the break, and now an update on the PNB fraud case. And the Enforcement Directorate has said that it has frozen mutual funds and shares worth nearly 95 crore rupees of Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi Group in connection with the Punjab National Bank fraud case. It also seized 9 high-end luxury cars of Nirav Modi as part of its investigation against him under the criminal provisions of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Now, Nirav Modi, Choksi and others are being investigated by multiple probe agencies after it recently came to light that they allegedly cheated the nationalized bank to the tune of 11,400 crore rupees with the purported involvement of a few employees of the bank. The CBI and the ED have registered 2 FIRs each to probe the case. Both Modi and Choksi are said to have left the country before criminal cases were lodged against them. News from Jammu and Kashmir, where a fresh ceasefire violation by Pakistani army has been reported in North Kashmir's Uri sector this morning. Now, according to reports, the side resorted to unprovoked firing in Churanda area at Tika post in Uri sector. The fire was retaliated by Indian army in a befitting manner. There was no report of any loss of life or damage to any property on this side of the line of control. Meanwhile, in a separate incident, gunshots have been heard in Kashmir's Bandipora district as well, and search operations by the security forces are underway. On to some other news now. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau began the 5th day of his week-long tour to India by visiting Delhi's Jama Masjid with his family on Thursday. He also visited a school cricket ground in Delhi where he, along with his children, played cricket. Former cricketers Kapil Dev and Mohammad Azharuddin also participated. Now, Trudeau is also expected to speak at a Canada-India business meeting later today. The Canadian leader's visit to India is aimed at strengthening bilateral ties and boosting relations in key areas of mutual interest like trade and investment, energy, science and innovation, higher education, infrastructure development, skill development and space. On to the other top story of the day. Flying officer Avni Chaturvedi has scripted history by becoming the first Indian woman to fly a fighter aircraft solo. Avni flew a MiG-21 Bison in her first solo sortie from Indian Air Force's Jamnagar base in Gujarat on Monday, which is one of the 3 in the first batch of female pilots besides Bhavna Kant and Mohana Singh, who were inducted into the Indian Air Force's fighter squadron in 2016. They were commissioned as flying officers after the government took the decision in 2015 to open the fighter stream for women on an experimental basis in which 3 women pilots had undergone strenuous training program to fly fighter jets. The Indian Air Force has already selected the next batch of these women trainee pilots for the fighter stream. And after the successful test fire of Agni-2, the trial of the indigenously developed nuclear-capable Prithvi-2 missile was successfully done on Wednesday night from a test range in Odisha. With a strike range of 350 kilometers, the surface-to-surface missile is capable of carrying payloads up to 1,000 kilograms. The test fire was part of the Army's user trial. This comes after the successful trial of the Agni-5 missile on 18th of January, Agni-1 on 6th of February and Agni-2 on Tuesday from the Abdul Kalam Island off the Odisha coast. The missile has been randomly chosen from the production stock and the entire launch activities have been carried out by the specially formed Strategic Force Command of the Army and monitored by the scientists of the DRDO as part of training exercise. And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has emphasized on the need for credibility and accountability in the field of journalism. Addressing the gathering at N.R. Chendur Journalist Award 2018 on Wednesday, the Vice President advised journalists not to compromise with standards and values. Now, this year's N.R. Chendur Jagati Award has been conferred to Washington-based Gizmodo Media Group Chairman Raju Narisetti. Narisetti had earlier served as the managing editor of the Wall Street Journal and the editor of the Washington Post. And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu attended the 11th convocation of Savita Institute of Medical and Technical Sciences in Chennai today. While addressing the gathering, he said that it should be mandatory for the MBBS graduates to work for at least 2 years in rural areas. He said that there is an acute shortage of doctors as also healthcare facilities in the rural areas and drastic changes must be made to make healthcare accessible to everyone. Addressing students, Vice President said that every student should have adequate opportunities to gain knowledge, enhance technical skills and also have a sense of responsibility as a fellow citizen. The Vice President has also asked the private sector to play a bigger role in bridging this gap, not only in terms of turning out more number of medicos, but also in creating healthcare infrastructure.
Do it as a mission, with compassion, with commitment. Then you will shine. You will get good name in the society. That will be called as, Paramartham. Life's meaning for the life is that. And secondly, you must also be willing to go to rural villages. Village student becomes a doctor and refuses to go to village, he wants to be in town only. Everybody wants to be in town. Then how do you take care of the rural population? 50% of the population of the country are still in the rural areas. 53%. So they need the medical facilities. They need education. So some of us, in fact, I am suggesting to the governments also that before the first promotion, every doctor must serve minimum 2 years in the villages.
A top international focus, US President Donald Trump has said that he will consider a proposal to arm school teachers in an attempt to prevent mass shootings. The US President suggested the idea after holding a listening session at the White House with the survivors of last week's Florida school shooting and others affected by gun violence. He said that a staff member with a gun could end an attack very quickly, adding that allowing airline pilots to carry and conceal guns had demonstrated that the measure could be a success. He also backed calls for improved background checks for gun buyers. Earlier, ahead of Donald Trump's meeting, hundreds of teenagers from the Washington, D.C. suburbs rallied outside the White House. Meanwhile, survivors of last week's shooting also poured into the Florida state capitol to demand lawmakers restrict the sales of assault rifles.
It only works where you have people very adept at using firearms, of which you have many. And it would be teachers and coaches. If the coach had a firearm in his locker when he ran at this guy, that coach was very brave. Saved a lot of lives, I suspect. But if he had a firearm, he wouldn't have had a run. He would have shot, and that would have been the end of it. And this would only be, obviously, for people that are very adept at handling a gun. And it would be, it's called concealed carry, where a teacher would have a concealed gun on them. They'd go for special training, and they would be there, and you would no longer have a gun-free zone. Gun-free zone to a maniac, because they're all cowards, A gun-free zone is let's go in and let's attack.
School teachers have more than enough responsibilities right now than to have the awesome responsibility of lethal force to take a life. Nobody wants to see a shootout in a school and a deranged sociopath on his way to commit an act of murder in a school with the outcome, knowing the outcome is going to be suicide, is not going to care if there's somebody there with a gun. That's their plan anyway.
All the sporting action now, and South Africa have kept the T20 series against India alive. They beat India by 6 wickets in the second T20 international played at the Centurion on Wednesday. The hosts achieved the target of 189 runs with 8 balls to spare. Heinrich Klaasen made 69 runs and DP Dumini remained not out on 64. Jaydev Unadkar claimed 2 wickets for India, while Shardul Thakur and Hardik Pandya took a wicket each. Earlier in the day, put into bat first, India scored 188 for 4 in the stipulated 20 overs. Manish Pandey top scored with an unbeaten 79, while MS Dhoni was also unconquered on 52. The third and the final T20 match will be played in Cape Town on Saturday. And in women's cricket, the rain washed out the 4th T20 international between India and South Africa at the Super Sport Park in Centurion on Wednesday. Before rain interrupted play, South Africa scored 130 for 3 in 15.3 overs. South African Eves got off to a brilliant start as their opening pair put together 103 runs, but India then fought back to take 3 wickets in as many overs before rain stopped play. The result means that India, who is leading 2-1, cannot lose the series, while the hosts cannot win the series with only 1 match to go. The 5th and the last T20 match of the series will be played at Cape Town on Saturday. Indian women earlier had also won the ODI series 2-1. And that's all in this edition of Midday News. Up ahead is Khabar Dopeher. Thanks for watching.